What is up, guys? Welcome to bonus number 2 on the Ninja Instagram Blueprint. And this is basically going to show you guys exactly how a few simple tricks I use to take advantage of one of, if not the highest converting / most active social media. And we're going to teach you how to use it to drive an unlimited kind of organic user base to your page. So why Instagram, right? There's 800 million active monthly users, which is absolutely obscene. And according to social media company LocoWise, Instagram actually has the highest audience engagement compared to all other social networking platforms. And I've personally used Instagram, again and again and again, kind of to build out my business brand profiles, where people, will actually find my business profile just from my Instagram page. And this works incredibly well because as many kind of organic sources of income and traffic that you can get for your business, where people are kind of just stumbling upon you and learning more about your business, and you can obviously link your whatever link you want people to go to from Instagram, whether it's like your Shopify store or your website or your YouTube, for example, like I have here, or maybe it's like a Facebook page or group. Wherever you think is most valuable to send people, you can put right here, and people will do it, and they'll message you and things like that. So we're going to talk about how to grow an organic following kind of the right way. We're going to give a little bit of basics of just how Instagram works, and then we're going to talk about specifically how I like to use Instagram ads later on in this particular module, and a bunch of just kind of hacks and tricks that I've used along the way learning Instagram kind of to build correctly and how to generate the most kind of traffic and attention with your posts. So how to get organic followers. Getting kind of targeted followers on Instagram is one of the surest ways kind of to start building an audience that you can kind of later market to down the line. Like we've talked about again and again and again, right? Creating kind of that initial interest, giving away value for free, whether it's in the form of motivation, right? Kind of understanding what your demographic is on Instagram and what they want from you, right? But kind of to do things right, guys, we have to entertain, right? And Instagram is very much so a visual platform, and that kind of holds true with the type of content that you need to create and kind of curate to your audience. And kind of what I mean by that, guys, is we don't want to, on Instagram, for example, just show pictures of our products. Like you can see, my Instagram has some pictures of me, but a lot of what I have kind of seems random, but it's actually not random at all. And we'll talk about exactly, the reason for these types of posts in a little bit. But again, so the purpose of Instagram is not to blast your product over and over and over again, even though that's what you want people to see. Like for example, if you had a dog clothing company, instead of posting picture after picture of, your dog shirts or like your dog collars or whatever it was, right? The smart way to do it, especially with Instagram, is kind of to, let's say you had a pit bull company, like you sold pit bull related merchandise. So we would want to, not to be confused with the rapper, Pitbull the dog. So what we would do is post like pictures of pit bull puppies, or like videos of cute pit bulls, or pit bulls doing funny things, or like acting silly or whatever, and people will react to that. And when people react to that, the more engagement you can get on your photos, the more likely they are to get to the top post page, and the more likely they are to go viral. And if you get some posts that go viral, you can start to accumulate some nice followership. So what I like to do, guys, is kind of find what's working in my niche. And my niche is entrepreneurship, right? Motivation. People come to my page because they want to be entertained. They want to like start conversations. They want like little puzzles. They want to see ridiculous, crazy videos, right? But they just want, a little bit of entertainment. They want a little bit of motivation and things like that. And so, the way that I figured that out was I looked at what was working in my niche. Some of the people who had the largest Instagram followings, like Clever Investor and Motivation Mentor, Jason Stone, some of those guys. And, I was looking and I started to see that, most of the content that they were actually posting was just kind of like repurposed viral content. And like a lot of it wasn't original. They were just taking photos from other people's pages that they'd seen had already kind of gone viral based on the amount of engagement on those posts. And then they would just repost it on their own page, and then obviously credit the original kind of content creator in the post as well, which is kind of the etiquette on Instagram. And kind of repurpose viral content that's already kind of been proven successful in your personal niche, mixed with what's called Instagram stories, which is kind of like Instagram's version of what Snapchat kind of initially popularized in the form of like, daily kind of segments of what's going on in your life in the form of a video story. That is kind of the combination for success, right? Repurpose viral content to bring people to your page, and then, using your story to actually familiarize those people with you personally. And if you're entertaining and you're passionate and you're interesting, then they're going to stay, right? And so what I like to do, guys, is I like to go to a successful page, right? And this is kind of a ninja hack, your first one for the Instagram bonus. Go to a successful page, go to a post, right? So let's just choose one, for example. Let's go to Clever Investor. Right, so we can go to his actual page here. And he's doing a great job. Like he's posting repurposed viral content of like Chris Rock, entrepreneurship, who's more wealthy. I think this exact post I actually have on my page as well, which is funny. And so let's just click one of these photos, and we see that it has 10,000 likes, right? A ton of comments here, all of people who are commenting recently. So what I like to do is I like to follow all of the people commenting, and he's in the entrepreneurship niche. He's kind of similar to what I'm doing, and when I was first starting out, I would either do this myself or have a virtual assistant do it, where kind of all these people who are commenting like right away, like in the last minute, so I know that they're active now, I would just go to their pages and follow them, or I might comment on their page, or somehow interact. And the reason that we do that, guys, is all people are different, but a lot of people are actually quite similar. And people, if you're going and following someone's page and you're liking their stuff, it makes them feel good, right? That's the point of social media, to kind of get that little dopamine rush of getting a like on your post, or having someone be interested in you or something that you have to say, right? And so kind of the law of reciprocation is the key here on Instagram. If you follow and like people's stuff, they're very, very likely, I would say almost 90% or more of people will also follow you back and start liking your stuff. And so what I used to do when I was first building kind of my Instagram presence was I would just go follow these people who had proven that they were interested in a similar niche by liking and commenting and engaging with other people's Instagram profiles who are in a niche like mine, entrepreneurship, right? And so I knew that they were kind of targeted, and I knew that they were engaged. And the more engaged, targeted people who are interested in entrepreneurship that I can, follow and like their stuff and get them, to in return follow and like my stuff, the more people that I can get interested in me who are interested in entrepreneurship, the better, right? And so that's kind of the initial strategy that I like to do. So if you follow kind of 100 people a day, guys, and you might get 50 follows back, or in my case, I was getting about 90% of people following back if I was giving them like a kind of a engaged, reasonable kind of pertinent comment on some of their photos. Like if I really liked one, if they had a business related photo and I gave them entrepreneurship advice or whatever, right? Just make it personal. If I follow 100 people a day, let's say very conservatively that 50% of them follow back, right? And about 10% of the people that follow you back or more are going to click on your bio link, right? And so that means a 10% ratio of 100 people, or 10 people, would click your bio link, go to your store. They might be interested in it and they might make a purchase, or they might follow you on YouTube or your Snapchat, or if you wanted to like continue kind of keeping them in your ecosystem and getting them to follow you on a different social media. But if you start to like actually exponentiate that, right? If you follow 1,000 people a day, or you have your virtual assistants follow 1,000 people a day and 1,000 comments, right? And 500 follow you back, even 50% of that, which is very conservative, right? That's 50 clicks. That's 50 new people to your website. That's 50 new people being pixeled by your website. That's 50, pieces of data that you can start to use to form, custom audiences and then lookalike audiences from those source audiences. And it kind of starts to build on itself. And, as your Instagram grows larger from kind of using this method, people are going to be more interested in you when they visit your page, because everybody's interested, in somebody that has a lot of followers. They're like, wow, this person must be interesting. Why are all these people following them? Maybe I should look a little bit closer. So it kind of builds on itself, like all of these advertisements, all these advertising strategies and tactics. Once you start to like get a larger and larger following, you have to do this less and less, and people just get more and more interested and start to organically be interested in you as well. And again, if this sounds like too much work for you to personally do, I pay teams of virtual assistants $3 an hour to do all types of social media tasks like this, to kind of build, when I was first starting out, to kind of build my presence and things like that. And now I just kind of let it, kind of be a little bit more organic and just kind of repurpose viral content and things like that. But again, just to kind of reiterate, instead of uploading an image of a dog sweater with the price, right, Instagram is much, much better with kind of indirect sales. People aren't browsing Instagram to be sold things, and even less so than Facebook. So like on Facebook, people aren't necessarily looking to buy things, but they're much more likely to buy stuff. On Instagram, nobody is going to click a picture of your dog sweater with a price on it and buy, right? They're going to click an adorable, corgi video, and then they're going to come to your profile and say, wow, like that's the cutest video I've ever seen. And then they're going to click your bio if it's interesting, right? The link in your bio, and then they might go to your store and make a purchase. So you're allowed to have 30 hashtags, and there's a little bit of kind of disagreement from the Instagram gurus about this, but I personally like to use all 30 hashtags, and I'll just do hashtags like similar to my brand. Let's say that we were doing corgis, right? You can literally type in corgi, and you see that hashtag corgi, hashtag corgigram, hashtag corgis, hashtag corgi love, 14 mil or 1.4 million, almost 900,000. I would use all of these, and I would scroll down and I would find more corgi smile, corgi puppy, corgi gram, if I was trying to like generate, new kind of interest for my corgi, merchandise. But it works for anything. It's the same thing like entrepreneurship. I would do entrepreneur, entrepreneurial, entrepreneurs, entrepreneur life, entrepreneur lifestyle, right? And all of these different hashtags, when you actually assign these hashtags to your posts, they're going to show a random amount of people who are interested in these topics, your post. And if a lot of people start to be interested in it, then your post has the possibility of going viral, right? That's just kind of how Instagram works. And you can use the Instagram autofill feature to kind of find hashtags as well. Like if I type in entrepreneur, like I don't have to type in the whole thing, or like motivations, motivational, motivated, right? All of these different kind of posts. And I like to generate kind of 3 sets of 30 hashtags. And then I like to kind of rotate them between my posts just to see, if one set of 30 is getting more engagement for like a similar type of photo. And then I'll start to like actually prioritize that one. And then once I've done it for a few days or like a week or whatever, I want to try like kind of some new hashtags so I reach a new group of people kind of interested in different things. So you can also kind of find successful people in your niche if you're wondering, like, how do I find people who are like doing it best in the niche, right? Like, let's say that you had a watch company. You can literally type in like men's watch Instagram influencer into Google, and Google will literally like show you like male influencers for luxury watch brands, or you could just literally type men's watches Instagram, and it'll like give you like the 10 Instagram accounts all watch lovers should follow, or like the Daily Watch, right? Or Movement is one of the biggest ones too. So like let Google, the best aggregator of information in the world, help you find things whenever like you actually need to go and find something, right? So how do you actually get more kind of engagement on your posts? So Instagram kind of ranks photos with a little bit of a complicated algorithm, but basically it breaks down to speed and strength of engagement. And kind of what I mean by strength of engagement is like if I have, let's say that Selena Gomez liked one of my pictures, right? And I think she's either number 1 or 2 most Instagram followers in the world. She's like 70 million or something insane. So if she liked one of my posts, Instagram would say, oh my gosh, like that, if that person with that many followers likes your post, it must be like an incredibly interesting post. And it would start to kind of experiment showing your post to a bunch of new people that they've never exposed you to before. And if all of them also liked it, then it would say, oh my gosh, this is such a, this is an incredibly interesting post based on the user engagement of all these random, additional people that we're showing it to because of the strength of engagement that you got previously. And then that's when your post can really go viral. And you don't need people like Selena Gomez, obviously, to like your post, but people that have larger pages, if they like you, kind of the strength of them liking you tells Instagram that it has a higher probability of being interesting. So it'll show it to a larger initial pool. And then if that larger initial pool of new people also likes it and engages and is interested, then it'll really, has a very large chance of going viral. And so this is kind of why large Instagrammers use what's called engagement groups, where they'll kind of like team up with each other and they'll all like each other's stuff, and they'll have a bunch of people like their initial post right kind of when they're posted. Because if you get a ton of like really quick likes like immediately, Instagram will read that as being very interesting, and then you have a higher likelihood of going into the top 9 posts. And let me show an example of that. So entrepreneur, if we just type this in, we'll see that there's these 9 posts kind of separated, right? There's like 9 here, and then it says most recent. These are the top posts. So if you make it into the top posts, then you have a higher probability of making it into the explore page. And if you make it into the explore page, that is when videos or images have a very, very high chance of going viral, because people just browsing trying to find new content could see it, and you could get a ton of exposure that way. And so some other little hacks, I like to put my hashtags in the first comment, not the actual caption, because on Instagram, it's about timing. So it's just a little thing. But, if you get an initial comment, even if it's from yourself and other people, and you can get people to engage by asking them questions and things like that, the more kind of engagement via comments and likes and things like that you have, the more interesting it's going to be deemed to Instagram. So another one is Canva. Canva is just a piece of software that allows you to kind of, oh, that's cool, that allows you to create graphics without being a graphic artist. And so we're not going to go deeply into this one, but you can, explore templates here. You can use their tools to kind of create graphics, even if you're not a graphic artist and have no kind of technical skills with that. They make it super, super easy. And you can just watch like Canva tutorials on YouTube of how to make Instagram photos and things like that. And it's just super, super easy if you want to do it kind of all yourself. So if you're kind of wondering like, what should I make content about? Like I said before, let's take another example and like do like if you own like a fashion store, I would literally type in fashion and I would come look at the top posts and I would say, okay, which one of these has the most interest? This one seems to have the most interest, but it might be like a celebrity or something like that. Let's do like new, or let's see some other ones related to fashion. Fashionista, let's try this one. So we see some of these have some engagement, like this one, and this one seems to have the most engagement, right? So like I might make a post with some type of similar gear, or I might, even go and find this person and see if she's interested in doing some type of Instagram influencer, because she seems to get a huge amount of engagement relative to her number of following, or to her following, right? 3,000 likes with only 46,000 people following her, which is pretty incredible, to be honest. So another thing I like to do is mention other handles in your caption, and what I mean by handles is just other Instagrammers. Social mentioning another handle increases your engagement by 56%, and you can literally like use big, huge accounts. Like sometimes when I'm doing posts, I'll mention like Millionaire Mentor and people with 1.2 million followers, or 3 million followers, excuse me. And he gets a huge amount of engagement on all of this, on most of the stuff that he does. And I'll mention his handle in photos that I post, and then when people are specifically typing in Millionaire Mentor, my post will come up as a hashtag, right? Because if you see Millionaire Mentor here, there's 296,000 posts, and well, one of them would be mine. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but people will find it. Right? You can also geotag your photos. I found that images that incorporate the color blue, like water, perform significantly better on Instagram. You can also go on Pinterest and you can search Instagram themes, and you'll see like kind of popular themes that people use. So let's talk about how to find Instagram influencers. Instagram influencing is basically, utilizing and leveraging an Instagrammer that already has kind of a pre-existing audience, using their audience to kind of market to. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, like I was doing, like a travel niche, or, even my page for like smaller entrepreneurs. For smaller entrepreneurs, they might like say, Kevin, like, would you shout out like my brand, or like my YouTube, if they're trying to start like an entrepreneurship YouTube channel. And since I have 40,000 followers, me making a post instantly exposes them to 40,000 people. And so people will pay for that exposure, right? Because people have spent a lot of time and money kind of gathering their Instagram following. And if they're doing it in a good way, if they have a really good engagement percentages and things like that, then it can be worth it. And so, kind of the average is, 1 to 1.5% engagement per post. So, and what I mean by that is stuff like if you had, 100,000 followers, then, you'd expect 1.5 thousand likes on each photo. That would be a 1.5 engagement. So you kind of want 1.5 or higher. And so you can calculate that by using this little website here. So we can type in mine. Let's see what my user or what my engagement is. Hopefully it's higher than 1.7. Yeah, so it's 7.16%. So this would be an okay engagement rate. You're kind of looking for above 1.5. Oh, so it used to be 16. Oh, I guess it's average interactions per post, and so it's gone down recently. So you can look at the comments of influencer posts. And what I mean by that is, you want comments to kind of be not spammy, because Instagram has a big problem with spam and bots and engagement groups and things like that, kind of trying to fake engagement to try to artificially increase the chances of your post being viral and being on the Explore page, and then getting a bunch more kind of interest and things like that. And so what I like to do is, if I'm doing, let's go back to Millionaire Mentor. So if I was gonna like pay Millionaire Mentor to give me a shout out, I would come in here and I would read these comments. right? Because if you have a bunch of comments saying like, wow, awesome post, or like this type of stuff, um, give up your old, yeah. So I mean, these are real people, right? But like for example, let's see if we can find one really quickly that doesn't have real people. Let's try this one. So like, yes, yes, wonderful, like this, like wonderful words. This made my day. Amazing, right? Like these types of like very generic, vague comments are most likely bots or engagement groups or like VAs or kind of engagement farms where um, you don't really want them as far as Instagram influencers, just because it's not going to be real people. You're going to kind of be paying to have your product or service exposed to a bunch of bots that aren't going to buy your stuff. All right, so let's look at his engagement rate. 5.9, so not terrible, but not as good as mine. Yeah, so I like to look at the posts, and Instagram's trying really hard to stop kind of bot stuff, but it's still, it's impossible to stop it entirely. So let's talk about how I actually go about finding Instagram influencers. So let's say that I was, trying to find like a hunting Instagram influencer. So like I've said before, let Google do the hard work for you, because Google is the best aggregator of data ever in the world. Like they have an unimaginable amount of data, and the entire kind of premise of their company is making sense of all of that chaos. And so us trying, to find it by ourselves versus, letting Google and Instagram kind of do it for us doesn't make a lot of sense for us to do it on our own. So you can also kind of just use Instagram. So if you do like hashtag hunting, and then kind of look through the top brands here. So like we could, go through, see if any of these have a lot of engagement, or we could even type in hunting and kind of see like hunting the wild. This looks like an actual kind of Instagram here. Hunting the Wild, yeah, here it is. So yeah, 968,000 followers, and it looks like they're already doing shout outs kind of for maybe this tobacco company here. And so, oh my gosh. So this might be an interesting one to reach out to, right? And you can, try to find large Instagram influencers. You can try to find small ones, kind of micro Instagram influencers, using geographical kind of specific searches if you're like trying to find an influencer in like a specific city or whatever. And so, what I've kind of found, guys, is for every dollar that I spend on influencer marketing, if you're looking at their engagement rates, making sure that it's like above the kind of the 1.5 to like 3-ish above, that percentage, you're making sure that their comments are actually real people, not just like bots saying like, awesome, thanks, like amazing, crazy, like you made my day, like stuff that just isn't real people. Like it should be applicable to anything. If you're kind of doing your due diligence, I've found that I get about $1 spent for about $5 back in return. So how do you kind of track the return on investment, right? You kind of track the return on investment by how I like to do it is I'll use a discount code. So like if I had a Shopify store, for example, I would make a code for the day or for the week or however long that I was paying to have them actually run my advertisement. Most of them are done in kind of 12-hour increments or 24 hours. And I'll talk about kind of the best times and prices and things like that in a little bit. But like what I like to do is I'll make an ad or a coupon code that says like Instagram 50 or whatever, right? For 50% off. And like every single person who comes to like my Shopify store, for example, and buys a product, they'd obviously use that 50% off discount. And if they did, I'm able to track that, right? And so then if I got like 100 sales or whatever, and they all use the 50% off discount, then I could say, okay, well, like I paid $100 for this Instagram influencer shout out, and I had 100 sales at $10 profit a sale, that I made $1,000 back, right? And I can track which sales came because I could see that they used the coupon. So there's kind of a huge disparity on what influencers charge. I found that kind of anybody above that $300,000 to $500,000 range really starts to kind of overcharge for Instagram influencer shoutouts. And so, what I've kind of found as a sweet spot is between 100,000 to 300,000 followers, just because they have enough followers to really kind of get a big enough kind of benefit for your effort of reaching out, negotiating price, giving them advertisements, setting up coupon codes and things like that. But they're not, they don't have such a huge following that they think that they deserve like $1,000 a shout out, which is just usually not profitable. So what you can do is, how do you contact and pay them? So obviously you can send a direct message via Instagram, but I generally like to look for other kind of forms of social media, because people don't check their Instagram direct messages as often. And so, if I was trying to reach this guy or girl, I guess I would, add them on Snapchat. I would add them on Kik. If they had an email here that says like business inquiries, I would email them. I would basically attack them on every piece of social media they have. Right? I would Snapchat them. I would message them there. I would message them on Kik. I would message their business email, and I would shoot them a direct message on Instagram saying, just basically like, hey, like, do you do shout outs? If so, like, what are your prices? Like, I'd love to promote one of my products on your page, and show them what your product is, right? Because if I'm trying to sell like a pair of like pink girls gloves, then it probably wouldn't make sense for Hunting the Wild to show that. But if I'm selling like a hunting bow or something like that, then maybe it would make sense, and he'd be willing to kind of do it. So I generally do my shout outs kind of on a 12-hour basis. I found that they're more profitable, but I like to ask for 12 and 24 hours. So if he charges $500 for 24 hours and $250 for 12 hours, I would definitely choose the 12-hour, because people are very myopic on Instagram. Like, things get old quickly. It's not historical at all. And after 12 hours, it's pretty much dead, that post, and people are just on to the next one. I found the best kind of time frame for maximum engagement to be 9 a.m. Pacific to 9 p.m. Pacific. So that's generally when I like to like run my Instagram influencer ads. And I kind of shoot to pay $20 to $150 for influencers with high engagements, right? When you start to reach people over 300K, that number can kind of go up. But I usually don't pay over $150 per influencer shout out. So how to actually make money from Instagram. So Instagram's a great kind of platform to get the word out about your brand or service, but it's also kind of a great way to pay for advertisements as well, which we're going to talk about later on. But Instagram is also a way that you can kind of start making money for yourself today. And kind of the best way to do that is by monetizing your following via shoutouts if you already have a large following. Another kind of way to do that is just attracting people to your page, driving traffic to your page, like we talked about, repurposing viral content or making a bunch of, content that people would like that's kind of related to your product or service, never posting your actual product itself, because people don't care about that. They're on Instagram to be entertained and see cute puppies and stuff. Another cool way is you can affiliate market other people's products related to your page's content. And so we've started like fashion or makeup accounts where we just like where we post pictures of beautiful women in beautiful clothes or with beautiful makeup on their faces, and then in our bio we had links basically that just would link to like affiliate marketing. Like, we'd get like 50% of the sale, and we'd drive them to other people's kind of Shopify store and stuff like that. And if you're trying to find like ways or products that you can affiliate market, one of the good websites is Max Bounty. I'm not sure why that isn't working. It looks like their website is down for maintenance right now, but Max Bounty is a good website for that. You can kind of find products, and they make it pretty easy to find products to affiliate market. You can also, sell merchandise and things like that. And yeah, so that's kind of a way that you can use Instagram to make money. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that over starting a Facebook ad agency. Starting a Facebook ad agency is a way better opportunity. But people love Instagram, and if that's like something you're passionate about, then that's definitely a choice you could make. So let's talk about how I got almost 5,000 Instagram followers in 1 month for $45. And this was when I was first starting, and I had 0 Instagram followers for one of my business pages. So kind of what I did was I found the top 3 accounts related to your niche, to my niche, and then via my most targeted keywords. So like, for example, let's say you're selling dog leashes. So you'd search Instagram for beautiful dog photos. Again, people don't want to see your product; they want to see beautiful photos related to your product. So I would find like kind of the 3 best Instagram profiles related to kind of shareable, fun, entertaining content related to my products. And then what I did was I just downloaded a program called 4K Stogram. And what 4K Stogram is, it allows you to export, download, and kind of back up if it's your own. But it allows you to download Instagram accounts, right? So you can like literally go and download the entire account of these other popular Instagram profiles, and then you can just repost their content, and obviously like credit them, and people actually like it when you kind of share their content, because it's just getting them more exposure, right? And if they ask you to take it down, then they ask you to take it down, and that's it. But I've been doing this for years, and people have never complained, and people have said, hey man, thanks for sharing my content. Like I appreciate it. It's like weird, but it's just kind of how it is. And so you can get just an unbelievable amount of really targeted content. You can see what's working on their accounts. You can use those ones first, right? The ones with the most engagement, only repurpose and repost those ones. And you can drive a ton of organic traffic to your page this way. And what I did was I just downloaded like 1,000 pictures from the best 3 accounts, and then I had a virtual assistant post 2 of them 2 times a day using hashtags that I gave them, right? And right tag is a cool way to kind of find hashtags. No idea which hashtags to use, get instant hashtag suggestions for images and text, desktop, and mobile. And so they'll kind of show you, some of the best hashtags. And, again, I would take the 30 most popular, and I would post, and I would have my virtual assistant post twice a day, and just naturally, organically build a following of people who are interested in that content. And I already knew that content was going to be interesting because it had already been proven interesting on those other large accounts. So then, you can update your Instagram bio to be whatever you want people to go to, right? If you want people to go to your YouTube, obviously do that. If you want people to go to your Shopify store or a product page specifically, or any type of funnel, right? Put that in your bio. And then, make sure that your actual bio itself is, set up right. I mean, like if you want to, drive people to your Snapchat, but you want your link to be Shopify, or you want to have all of your other social medias if people want to follow you there, just make sure your bio's set up right. And then run periodic giveaways and promotions, right? Tell people that they can get coupons if they post, a picture of a t-shirt that you sell on your store or something like that, right? And so let's talk about Instagram hacks. These are kind of the hacks that I've collected for you guys, and have been proven most kind of beneficial for my own Instagram. So what I like to do is I like to run giveaways. And so what we'll do is we'll run like big giveaways where we gave away like it was like $20,000 worth of stuff, or $70,000 worth of stuff. And this was a really cool one. Where to enter, people had to go follow a bunch of different accounts, which like led them back in a circle to here. And so me and all the other kind of influencers that were part of that all kind of gained like 10,000 followers overnight, and then we gave away $70,000 worth of stuff to kind of these winners, right? And so what we do is we'll run giveaways, and we'll tell our followers that the only way that if you won is that by turning post notifications on. And when they turn post notifications on, which is easy, they just do it up in like the little settings, right? It does a number of things. When people have your post notifications on, it means they're notified of your newest post, which kind of means that they will check it, they'll like it, they'll comment on it, and the more initial like and comment velocity you get, the more likely that your post is to kind of snowball and make it to the top posts, and then if it continues to perform well, then to the explore page, getting a ton more interest and bringing a ton more kind of exposure to your page. Instagram stories, right? So doing 1 to 2 Instagram stories per day is vitally important. And this is kind of the next major communication medium, and has like a number of super kind of like real incredible features that need to be taken advantage of. You can do polls on Instagram where you say like, do you guys want to like learn more about Amazon? And you can have it say yes and no, and then people can in real time actually click those polls, and then Instagram will tell you 87% said yes, 20% said no, or whatever it is, right? And you can actually see who says yes. And so what we'll do is, if we say like, do you guys want to learn more about Amazon? And then like 5,000 people watch my story or whatever it is. And if, 80% of them or 100% of them said yes, or I guess 80 is probably more reasonable. If 80% of them said yes, what we'll do is we'll have a virtual assistant actually direct message every single one of them from my Instagram profile saying like, hey, like here's a 20% off coupon to our Amazon course, or like here's our free Amazon mini course. To sign up, they have to like follow my Snapchat, or like they have to subscribe on my YouTube, and it just continues to get people more and more kind of enthralled into your ecosystem. So let's talk about the bio. right? You want to show your potential customers kind of what you were and like what you've become, or you know, if you have a product store, you want to show them the benefits of your product, you know, based on how they'll feel, right? Not product features. And so, you know, what we did was we did, you know, from corporate drone to multimillionaire. You want to show your potential customers, you know, what you can kind of do for them, like why should they be listening to me, you know, and then, you know, what can we do to change their lives? Thousands of my students earn thousands daily, right? You want to give your potential customers kind of a frictionless way to initiate communication with you, right? Which is what we do with the DM Ninja Life to learn more. So I get literally like hundreds of messages every day that say, you know, Ninja Life, just because like people don't want to message you if you don't give them kind of an easy way to do so. Like people feel awkward. They're like, oh yeah, he's like busy. He doesn't want to talk to me. But now if I say DM me Ninja Life, I literally get like hundreds of messages a day of people that say Ninja Life, and it opens up, you know, a conversation for me to drive them to my YouTube or to interact with them or help them or whatever the case may be, right? And then follow to win money daily. So we give away, you know, $100 a day, which in the grand scheme of things is not very much money, but it gets people engaged. People like love the idea of being able to win things. That's why the lottery is so popular, and that's why the lottery is so unbelievably profitable. And then whatever your bio link is going to be, make sure it's something, you know, kind of nice, like rebrandly.com/thatlifestyleninja, instead of like just being like a huge like YouTube link that is just like looks ugly. You want to make it kind of nice and easy to click on. So if you want to, so stories default, Instagram stories default to be 15 seconds long, but I actually use an app called Continual, which kind of allows you to make longer Instagram stories. So if you wanted to like record like a 10-minute long thing, it would automatically split that 10 minutes up all into 15-second segments, and then you could upload them all to be like a continuous or a continual video. Okay, so let's talk about types of Instagram ads. So advertising on Instagram through paid traffic is kind of one of the more exciting ways to use Facebook ads, but remember kind of who your audience is on Instagram. So advertising as of right now is significantly more profitable on Facebook, right? So we definitely want to always advertise on Facebook, but Instagram gives us kind of another platform to play around with. It gives us, you know, new types of ad content, like stories, for example, with kind of you know, the long form taller kind of images and videos. It's generally kind of a younger demographic who are interested in like kind of certain things like fitness, celebrities, you know, attractive women, traveling, beautiful traveling videos, money, and things like that. And so kind of do your market research, see what large influencers are doing, see what the engagement's like in your niche, and then kind of just jump in. So advertisers have 4 options on Instagram: photo ads, video ads, carousel ads, and story ads. Right, and you know, let's talk about really quickly why it's important to also invest in some of Instagram ads. So according to Instagram, 60% of people say they discover new products on the platform, and 75% of Instagrammers take action after being inspired by a post. So similar to Facebook ads, you know, throwing some money behind a post kind of leads to more exposure for your brand, as well as getting, you know, control over who can actually see your post. So 15 million business profiles worldwide, 1 million advertisers, 75% of Instagrammers take action on a post, 60% say they discover new products on Instagram, 80% increase in time spent watching video on Instagram, and 1/3 of the most viewed stories are from businesses. So there's kind of no better place to get inspiration for the types of ads on Instagram than the source itself. So let's look at some kind of success stories here. See how other advertisers are inspiring action. Right, so let's do Yeti, for example. So Yeti has some like outdoorsy products, and they make like water bottles and things like that. So we can like literally read through 20% off all Rambler bottles. This looks like a slideshow of like just different styles of glowing right here, which is kind of a nice one. It's very visual, right? Remember that if you're going to be successful on Instagram, remembering one thing, that it's so much more visual than any other platform because it's all pictures and videos. There's literally nothing else, right? And we can read through and take a look at, you know, all of the different advertisements. We can read posts about what they're saying is important. You know, we can watch their actual little ad here itself. Which is kind of making me frustrated even seeing it for 1 second. And I would go through a lot of these, right? And so, like I've always said throughout the course, the point is not for me to show you exactly what to advertise for your product. It's to show you the sources where I get inspiration to you know, advertise for mine. So this is a great little resource. So Facebook offers 11 marketing objectives in the Ads Manager that we went through in detail through the course, but there's only 8 that you're allowed to do with Instagram ads. So you can do brand awareness, reach, traffic, app installs, engagement, video views, lead generation, and conversions, right? And so again, the ones that I use mainly are traffic, engagement, conversions, but also video views and lead generation are ones that are very underutilized on Instagram that we're kind of trying a bit more now. In the video view campaign, if you have high quality video, the video view style or the video view marketing objective is always going to be the most profitable for you. But a lot of people don't have really high quality video. They don't have access to the cameras, and that's kind of an excuse, to be honest, because anybody can go hire somebody off Craigslist for $300 a day to make beautiful videos and then make a ton more money from it if you do it right. But again, so traffic, engagement, video views, and conversions we use all the time on Instagram. And when we're creating ads on Instagram, remember, it's actually using the exact same platform. It's not like you like go to like Instagram or anything like that to advertise. You can actually use the same platform as Facebook. So if we go into one of our ad accounts here, the only difference is if we were trying to make an ad, for example, the only difference is what you actually choose as the placement. So let's just choose traffic. All of this is exactly the same. The only difference is where it says placements, right? So what we choose instead of automatic placements, if we wanted to make an Instagram only ad, we would just de-highlight all of these ones or unhighlight or whatever the word is, and we would leave the Instagram on. So and the one thing that's important though is feed is square. A feed is on the feed in Instagram is a square photo, and stories are kind of much longer posts. You have to optimize for each. So we would either run only stories or we would run only feed. We wouldn't run both because it would just be an ugly kind of format for one of them, depending on which one you actually optimized for. And so, something else that's kind of important is, to choose mobile only. So we can choose, let's say that, for example, we're only going to do feed Instagram ads, then we would choose feed here. And for all device types, we're going to choose mobile only because people who are browsing Instagram on a desktop are not going to buy from you. Like there's not going to. People are just not used to that. And the people who are browsing Instagram on desktop, we've just accidentally left on all devices, and it's just a waste of money. So just choose mobile only. And you can see the different types of ad specs, like if you're doing like stories versus posts, the different sizes that you want for feed, the different sizes that you want for stories right here. So, and I'm not going to say, do it 640 by 640 because, Facebook changes it all the time. So I just want to link directly to the source. You guys always have the newest kind of data directly from the mouth of Facebook. So let's go through a few examples of really kind of exceptionally crafted ads on Instagram and how you can kind of leverage these same strategies with your own campaigns. And remember, a lot of the kind of ideas and stuff like that are the same. The difference is the demographic on Instagram, right? You have to know your target market. Like if you're selling, like Medicare products, you're not going to be selling them on Instagram because Instagram is much younger and people are just interested in different things on Instagram. So just do some browsing, see what's popular, and if you don't want to do that, then just trust me. What's popular is beautiful women, money, right? Fashion, celebrities. Those are like the main 4, but there's also a few other things, right? And you have to remember that Instagram is entirely visual. So it's like 95% of the image here, like the actual ad text, it doesn't really matter. And this isn't even really well-designed ad copy. Try something new and different this new year by experiencing a dance class with a fitness twist, all new, adult ballet burn at Dance and Beyond. So really the main part here is this is just kind of a very eye-catching photo. It's like black and white, it's beautiful, right? And really it's just eye-catching and it literally yearns to be liked. Right, so let's take some lessons from the best kind of in the Instagram game when it comes to ads and posts and kind of just general presence, and that's Starbucks, right? The people who run Starbucks Instagram presence are doing a fantastic job, and the people, and you want to take kind of inspiration from the people that are doing it the best, and Starbucks is one of them. So this is kind of a beautiful image. It has a self-branded hashtag, which is a really good idea kind of in itself. Hashtag Frappuccino Happy Hour. Because when you have a kind of a self-branded hashtag, and you don't have to be a company as large as Starbucks, if it's something clever and it makes sense and it's related to the photo, it works really well. Because if people will they go and buy a Frappuccino, they'll actually hashtag it, hashtag Frappuccino Happy Hour, and then people will see that hashtag, and then they'll click that hashtag, and then they'll see Starbucks sale, and then they'll go to Starbucks, right? So it's kind of like it increases the chances that your post can go viral because people who kind of use your product or service use the hashtag, and it can kind of grow exponentially via a web that way. It kind of has clear value, right? Get half off any Frappuccino 3 to 6 p.m. May 5th through 14th. There's a very specific kind of time frame here, which makes it kind of easy for people to claim the value. And that being said, the main thing again is always the image on Instagram. It's a beautifully kind of designed ad, and yeah, it just kind of works. So let's take a look at this next one. Kind of seems like out of order, like they're all falling, but they're also all perfectly organized, and there's kind of like some chaos of the table tipping, but this one's like flat on it, right? It shows like kind of the luxury type of packaging here, and it has a very kind of vivid, easy to kind of see and interpret huge free, which really, free is probably the #1 most like eye-catching, attractive word used in advertisements. It really gets your kind of eyes going to it. I think there's like a couple other ones like sex and some swear words and things like that. But it really makes you stop and kind of look because the shoes are falling, it just seems out of order. And when your brain sees something that's like not kind of conventional, it stops and it like kind of interrupts your scrolling pattern. And again, it's similar to Facebook, where one of the main purposes of advertising on Instagram is kind of to, make people stop and even look for a single second. And then when we look kind of at the copy here, fall for our styles, right? So it's a pun because they're falling, obviously. Join JustFab for free and start shopping. Buy one, get one free. Gets 2 styles for only $39.95, free shipping, right? So free shipping is a huge kind of thing that people want when they're shopping on the internet, just because Amazon's really popularized that with Prime. And getting 2 pairs of these shoes, right, for $40 is a great deal. And most of them are probably not a part of that deal, but you could get 2 cheap pairs, and the whole point of this ad is to get people onto the website. Once people are onto the website, they've made the micro commitment, they've already clicked the ad, they're seeing some things that they might like, and then they'll probably end up spending more than $40, but they saw this ad and they clicked the ad because of this kind of like huge value offer that they saw, right? So this ad is really well done. It's kind of beautifully colorful. It's really appealing to all of the different kind of food groups that people who would be interested in kind of healthy and low-calorie meals. It has things that are delicious like avocados, but are also kind of healthy for you, and they're kind of healthy for you in the mainstream, right? Like shrimp, onions, oranges, broccoli, all kind of healthy, color coordinated with the kind of green. The green kind of theme here with the circle, and just a really simple, well-done headline, right? The simplest way to eat well. Healthy and low-calorie meals delivered to your door in 15 minutes. So it's like, if I'm hungry and I saw that and like I was trying to be healthy, and I would order it. And I've actually used Sprig before, and it actually is kind of an interesting company. This is another really good one. It's kind of simple but visually appealing. It's kind of a redesign of the classic blender bottle that gained so much popularity. And again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but these guys kind of saw the popularity of the blender bottle kind of in the fitness world. They understand that Instagram is primarily people who are interested in fitness, young youth, celebrities, beautiful women. A lot of the kind of Instagram influencers kind of gain popularity because they're beautiful and because they're interested in fitness. So this is definitely appealing to the demographic, and it's also very visual, right? Seeing this vortex, thinking about how could be like a more it's kind of like the next generation of the interesting blender bottle, and they're kind of appealing to the perfect demographic here. And so one of the things that we've talked about a couple times, but when we're creating custom audiences, and we can do this again really quick just so we have make sure everyone's 100% clear on it. We can when we're doing all of this work, guys, one of the things that's most important when we're doing all this work, when we're driving people to our page, when we're getting people to organically come click our stuff, when people are coming and viewing our business profile, right? And if you don't have a business profile, just Google search how to convert your Instagram to a business profile. All that means, it's completely free. All that means is you have just additional insights. You can see like what your demographics are and things like that. And you can also retarget them. So it's important to do it. So we can create a custom audience, and then when we choose engagement down here, we can actually target people, create a list of people who have interacted with your Instagram business profile, right? And so you can target people who have visited your profile, engaged with your post or ads, who sent you a message, and who've saved or any post or ad. But when you're kind of first starting out, the best thing to do is people who engage with your profile, because it encompasses everyone, right? And so what this allows you to do, guys, is it allows you to kind of not it allows you to take advantage of all the work you're doing to get people interested in your stuff. Because if like 1,000 people come to your page and they're kind of seeing, okay, Kevin David, yeah, he might be interesting, but then they forget about you, right? Because they move on with their busy lives. But then if I create a custom audience of everyone who's visited my business profile and I start advertising to them on Facebook and retargeting them, they're saying, oh, I kind of remember Kevin David. I think I saw his Instagram a couple days ago, and now all of a sudden, they're seeing ads for my stuff on their Facebook. And so the more touch points you have with people, the more you can kind of stay kind of on their plate and stay interesting and stay relevant to them, the more likely that you're going to be able to convert a sale. So creating custom audiences of people who have interacted with your business profile is absolutely vital to making sure that all of kind of the work and effort that you're putting into building a presence on Instagram is actually going to be as profitable as possible in the end. So in summary, guys, I know this is kind of a long one, but I wanted to kind of put everything that I've ever learned about Instagram all into one kind of beautiful little package. So in summary, Instagram is one of the fastest growing platforms on earth, especially with the younger generation, and it's really becoming kind of an integral part of everyday life for a lot of young people. So ignoring this platform is going to be bad for your business, no matter kind of how you shape it, unless you're, again, selling something like a Medicare product or something generally kind of targeting people more in like the elder demographic who aren't going to be on Instagram as much. But kind of learning how to leverage the organic reach of Instagram to kind of grow a brand, right? It gives you more social proof. If you have, thousands of followers on Instagram, people, especially younger people, it gives you a lot of credibility in their eyes. And then using Instagram influencers is just a great way to kind of get kind of an initial boost or get kind of the word out there. It's a good way to build pixel data. Because if you're using an Instagram influencer, even if you pay them $150 and you make $150 of sales, all of a sudden you have, all of those different people who visited your site from the Instagram influencer and who are, seasoning your pixel and giving your pixel more kind of source data to work with, which allows you to then retarget them on Facebook, create custom audiences, and create lookalike audiences, right? So in summary, guys, Instagram is a fantastic platform. If you're ignoring it, you're just doing a disservice to yourself and to your business. Because, if for no other reason, guys, Instagram is a new platform, right? People have their platforms that they use. Like sometimes when people will say, Kevin, like I love the new podcast you released, or somebody would say, Kevin, I love that new post that you have on Instagram, or I love your new YouTube video, or I love that Facebook post. People have their own specific platforms that they personally use. A lot of people only use Instagram and don't use Facebook. A lot of people only use YouTube and don't use Instagram. A lot of people only use Snapchat and right? The point is, guys, the more platforms that you can attract attention, start to grow audiences, start to gain organic reach, and start to build kind of that social proof and credibility from, the more people are going to be coming to you, the more people are going to be interested in your product or service, and the more people that are going to become potential buyers, guys. So Instagram is the future. Instagram is where all of the youth kind of aggregate, and Instagram can be a hugely profitable part of your business. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and let's get to the next.